short-term rental owner Gordon Gibson talking to us from Prince George, where your home is. So Gordon, just tell us who you are and the short-term rental that you own in Kelowna.
We're my wife and I, we're an older couple, live in Prince George. I drive truck. My wife is a librarian. We don't want to retire here. So the market is totally different in Prince George than down south. So I live in a house that's worth, say, 500,000. To replace it in the Okanagan, it would be $1 million, 800 to $1 million. And we just don't have the finances to do that. So the idea was to buy something and get in the market so that if things keep going up the way they were, we would be in the market and we could maybe capture enough money to actually afford to move and retire in the Okanagan.
So you bought a short-term rental at Playa del Sol, I understand.
Correct.
Why a short-term rental? Why not buy a traditional condo and rent it out?
So with the short-term rental, and we just do it through the summer, 3 or 4 months, and then we long-term rent it in the winter. So the short-term rental makes just enough money that everything just breaks even, maybe a little bit of profit. And with a long-term rental, it would never come close to covering your costs. And it wouldn't be affordable to do.
You talk about the affordability of a long-term rental, and you're facing that now with what the government has done with taking away your ability to long-term rent it. When you factor after your closing costs with the rent that you've learned you're going to be able to get for this unit, how much are you going to be backwards every month?
I worked it out to about $1,300 a month it'll cost me without really any maintenance.
So you are, as you said, you're in your 60s, you're a truck driver, your wife is a librarian. Can you afford to subsidize this condo $1,300 a month?
It's not something where I want to put my money. We need a new car for my wife. Her car is 17 years old and should be replaced. So that won't happen because that money would have gone towards that. And fortunately, we're very conservative, and we'll survive.
So I know your May 1 is right upon us now. Have you made any concrete decisions? Are you going to sell the unit? Are you going to long-term rent it? Just what are your plans at the moment, or do you know?
I think from talking to realtors and whatnot in the business, that if we can hang in there, we're better off to try and hang into it. So I think we're trying to find a long-term rental that we're happy with, and we're not afraid we'll decide they need free rent. And then, maybe we'll end up living in it.
So good news for the provincial government. I guess they're looking like heroes. They've created a long-term rental. Bad news, Gordon Gibson is going to be subsidizing it to the tune of $1,300 a month.
Yep. And they're not, the government's created this situation by not building affordable housing, and the only way you can have affordable housing, I think, is to subsidize it. You can't expect large corporations to do that. They're there to make money, and a lot of these people that are concerned, the middle, our middle income people that are worried about rental for everyone, if they have any kind of mutual funds, they probably partake in Canada. They probably belong or have in their their portfolios, these big rental companies that own houses, hundreds of them, that own apartments, and they're trying to make money for them too. They forget that. And we're painted as the evil people, and the government's willing to do that because they've dropped the ball, and the problem is most of these short-term rentals aren't designed and made for renting month to month for long-term rental. Some of them are so small they don't even have storage.
So that's the thing, like you'd mentioned, we need long-term rentals. Well, I think we're all on the same page with that, but that's something that if these units are going to be affordable, that's where the government has to step in and build. But unfortunately, they've asked you to chip in $1,300 a month to make it happen.
Yeah, and what we've done was been totally above board, totally legal, licensed. Our yearly license fee in Kelowna was $750 a year. So the next most expensive one I think is about $350, and that's for a cabaret or a bar. And it drops drastically after that, $150 to $250. I forget exactly which for a motel. But yeah, I don't know. We're being punished badly.
Thank you for doing this, Gordon.
You're welcome.